Let's start with your reading, Virgo. This reading is for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus sign. Make sure to check out the readings for all of your signs to get a better understanding of your overall situation. Now, let's look into the energies around you. Let's see what events you should expect in your near future. Okay. All right. So, what's going on here, Virgo? At the bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Cups, which is followed by the Ten of Swords. And so, obviously, here we have the same element perceived in two completely different ways. These almost seem like two different timelines, two different realities, two different outcomes. Whereas instead, we understand, also given the context around these cards, how this is actually the same situation. Perhaps here we see a happily ever after. That didn't happen. This situation was definitely promising. And eventually, from what we see at least so far, it did end up in a painful ending. Until the last few weeks or months, you probably would have never seen this coming. It was starting to base your vision and goals on this. Even your identity, perhaps. It wasn't just you, but it was always the two of you functioning as a unit. Then, from what we see here with the Ten of Swords, perhaps you have started worrying and losing control over the evolution of this relationship. Now, right here, we see how beautiful that harmony maybe was at some point in between the two of you. Something that you do not take for granted. You're happy about it. You feel like you can actually invest into this. But obviously, this Ten of Cups turned out to be instead the Ten of Swords. So let's see what this situation is about. Just so you know, this last card that we see here is the Sun, the Fool. So don't feel like this is the end. This, in fact, might very well be the beginning instead. And so we will see what this is going to be. In the middle of the reading, look at this. We got the 10, and now the 8 and the 8 again. There is something going on here very important for you, Virgo, that we need to talk about. Right here, what you see is that very abrupt ending, where instead there was so much more to say. In other words, what we see is perhaps someone leaving all of a sudden. They don't even give you the chance to say something, to do something. It's almost like one day you came back home and this person was gone. Their clothes were gone. Everything was gone. And obviously, as you know, the energies always go both ways, which mean that this could be you leaving and this person coming back to only find out that you're not there anymore. And so what we see here is that the person leaving was leaving in order to get away from negativity, from sadness. Overall, here someone cannot take it anymore. All of a sudden, their heart isn't in this situation any longer. And I feel like their face, their eyes have changed. And it's very much destabilizing you. Because here with the Ten of Cups, you easily think you know everything about the other person. You know them well enough to predict what their behavior is going to be, what they're going to say, how they're going to say it. But this instead is very, very unexpected. And it's making you think, who are you? You have no idea what's going on here. And, you know, with the Eight of Cups, you're still looking for a deeper understanding. But this person has left. Someone here has left. And you cannot figure this whole situation out by yourself. It feels like someone here is leaving the room and the other person is just looking at them, trying to scream, but they have no voice. And so, obviously, right here, this can be, or was at least, a complicated situation. It feels like your heart had no voice. And especially because of the card that comes next right here, in your focus position, the Hermit. Right here, I really feel that you have hard time expressing emotions in general, especially when you are in the position of having to ask for help, if that makes sense. For someone to do something in a different way so that it doesn't hurt you anymore. You find it hard at times to put yourself in a vulnerable position where you have to wait for someone else to do something, to say something, to change or fix something. Maybe because you do not want to build that sort of expectation because you're afraid that the person is not going to meet that expectation. And you do not want to be disappointed overall, right? So right here, what we see is that you want them to understand how you feel and what you do, why you do it, without having to talk about it, without them having to ask, Just look at me, you know me. We have been through that 10 of Cups right there. You should know. You should know. And so right here, you might just end up feeling frustrated and internalizing everything until you explode and you do something which perhaps you're not very proud of, like a mean text or block the person so that they cannot talk to you anymore, whereas instead you want them to talk to you. You might lose control at a certain degree here. Nothing to worry about or nothing to be ashamed about, but at the same time, a bummer, something that would prevent you to get out of this mind state and get to a more positive place, a place where maybe this can also be fixed in a way or another. Now, the energy that you have in common, this Queen of Cups, you both are still very emotional when you think about each other, very, very much. You still care, regardless of all the hurt that you might have experienced. You would rather see the situation in a new light other than being right about the fact that this is not going to work out, that this is not the right person, that this maybe was time wasted, and then having to move on. You would rather say, you know what, maybe I overlooked certain things. Maybe I didn't consider every single possibility here. And so, yeah, I'm wrong. I'm fine. Let's just fix this. When I say you, I mean the both of you. And in fact, you both hope that you missed something here. You both feel weak right now and need some emotional support. But you should not look for that emotional support in the other person, in someone who has already hurt you. It doesn't mean that this is never going to go back to normal or go back to a peaceful place. But right now, neither of you should look for that support in the other person, the person who threatened that stability in the first place. Right here, someone is saying, I get it, I know, but I still need the person. I still need to hear their voice to talk to them. Someone here is saying, I hate that I need you, but I do. So what are we going to do about it? In your strength position, 4 of Wands, focus on your foundation. There's no secret here. Don't enter this situation thinking that if it's not going to go well for you, your whole world is going to be destroyed. that puts way too much pressure on you. And you know that you wouldn't really act in a way that it's someone that does it because that's what they want. One thing is entering the situation claiming what you want, and another thing is entering the situation because you need certain things. You need this because your life depends on it. That's not how you have to walk into this situation. It's like walking on eggshells, you know? You won't have the confidence and honesty needed in order to fix the situation once for all in a way that is fair to you as well. Supporting this message, in fact, judgment. Someone here is reevaluating their own actions. Could be you, it could be them, it could be both of you. Right here, someone is making themselves accountable for their own actions, as we were saying. Finally, letting go of pride, or at least trying to. Becoming lighter because of it. See, this is the pride, the ego, leaving their body, leaving their environment, their energy. And finally, they're able to do something which perhaps before they didn't have the physical strength to do. But now they're lighter. So they have a possibility to do it and be successful at it. Right here, someone is focusing on what they need to change in themselves. Instead of always focusing on the other person, feeling the victim, what can I do to change it? You know, with judgment, I definitely see that you're both about to make choices that can deeply change your life going forward. Whether it's going to be together or not, we will see. But this is not over, obviously. We have, in fact, here what I see right now with this Nine of Wands, energies coming up for you, the Sun and the Fool here, and the Three of Pentacles as well. I see here someone who's going to give it a final push. This is going to be the last attempt that the two of you will make in order to see if there is anything here that can be saved at all. You're both exhausted, but something is still connecting the two of you, and you're even more exhausted trying to pretend that that connection isn't there anymore, you know? So someone still has hope for things to go back towards the sun, forgetting about all the worries and dark times and just being honest and transparent. Sometimes two adults find themselves again together, and they're like, all right, we messed up, I messed up, you messed up, but let's face the truth right now. We might be crazy, we might be two fools, but we still have something going on here, don't we? So are we going to do something about it? Are we going to see if we can be on the same page? Or are we just going to deny it and let it dissipate in thin air? What are we going to do? So this is definitely part of the conversation that it's coming up. With that Nine of Wands coming right after the Eight of Wands, talking back and forth, there is a decision that you're about to make. So let's take one step back and let's get to that conversation, Virgo. Let's see what the two of you are going to talk about. What is this person going to tell you? Strength. What is this person going to tell you that they haven't told you before? And here we start seeing it. Their face, as you see it, starting to reveal themselves for who they really are. Little by little, but it's definitely a consistent progression. So let's see what this conversation is going to be about and what type of decision here is triggering. Also, let's take a look at how this is going to evolve in the future, because obviously, if you were to give this another chance, it will be a big risk for you. Leap of faith with the Fool. Is it going to pay off in the distant future? Or are you going to go back to this? Let's look into it. If you want to dive deeper into the messages, Virgo, just follow me in the extended reading link below in the description box. Also, don't forget that every single week, I randomly select viewers who have watched the extended video to offer them a 100% free personal 30-minute reading I send out emails to confirm every Monday morning. Make sure to check out your spam folder as well. Now, stay tuned for the extended preview coming right up after this. Welcome back to your extended reading, Virgo. The energy that it's bridging us from the current situation to the upcoming situation is the Seven of Cups. And so right here, obviously, you have multiple ways to go at this, multiple scenarios, multiple different type of approach in order to reevaluate the situation and understand what to do from this moment forward. Now, obviously here we see that between the two of you, here we have the Eight of Wands, right where we left off, right where we see that something is going to change, come in perhaps unexpectedly, and then taking you to this instead. Now, as I was saying, the two of you are not over each other at all. This was such a disappointment for the both of you, even for the person who messed up. Yes, it definitely is. Maybe they didn't realize it at first, but right now it's very clear to the both of you. Now, let's see what this Eight of Wands, Nine of Wands is actually representing for your near future, upcoming energies. What should you expect? What is this going to be about? We see here the conversation. What is that going to be about? Let's start with clarifying the Eight of Wands and the Nine of Wands. Well, this is more than a conversation, and this actually it's going to be unexpected. Wow. Wheel of Fortune. Okay. All right. So, obviously, 9 plus 1, 10. You're getting to the end of a cycle together, and strength comes back up. So, this is very important to talk about as well. The first thing that we see right here is someone